"Where did you get that rifle?" The colonel's voice was sharp, cutting through the quiet focus of the arms room. He stood frozen, his eyes locked on the Deadeye marksmanship badge gleaming on the young soldier's uniform. She didn't flinch, her hands moving with practiced grace as she meticulously cleaned her M24 sniper rifle. The question hung in the air, heavy with unspoken accusation. In the rigid, hierarchical world of the military, a private cleaning a specialized sniper rifle, let alone sporting a Deadeye badge, was an anomaly that demanded explanation. The colonel, a man who had seen his share of combat, couldn't reconcile the image before him, a soldier barely out of basic training, handling a weapon reserved for the most elite, with a proficiency badge that many seasoned shooters never earn. Her name was Private Miller. Fresh-faced and unassuming, she looked like she should be heading to a college class, not field-stripping a weapon of immense power. But beneath that quiet exterior was a will of iron and a talent that was nothing short of prodigious. Her journey to this moment had been anything but ordinary. Growing up in rural Montana, Miller learned to shoot before she could properly ride a bike. Her father, a former competitive shooter, taught her the fundamentals: breath control, trigger squeeze, and the almost meditative focus required to hit a distant target. Shooting wasn't just a hobby. It was a language she understood, a discipline that centered her. When she enlisted, her recruiters saw her scores and were impressed, but they rooted her into a standard support role. The Army, for all its might, is a massive bureaucracy. A number on a page, no matter how high, can easily get lost in the shuffle. Miller didn't complain. She did her job, excelled in her duties, and waited for an opportunity. That opportunity came during a routine company-wide marksmanship qualification. Most soldiers aimed to simply pass. Miller aimed for perfection. Using a standard-issue M4, she didn't just qualify, she shot a perfect score. Then, she did it again. And again. Word travels fast in the military, especially tales of extraordinary skill. Her company commander, a captain who recognized raw talent when he saw it, pulled some strings. He arranged for her to take the advanced marksmanship course, a grueling program designed to weed out all but the best. Miller thrived. The instructors, grizzled NCOs who had seen it all, were initially skeptical of the quiet young private. But their skepticism melted away on the firing line. They watched in awe as she consistently placed rounds in the bullseye at distances that challenged even them. It was more than just good eyesight. It was an innate, almost intuitive understanding of ballistics, wind, and the mechanics of the rifle. She wasn't just shooting. She was conducting a symphony of physics. She graduated at the top of her class, earning the coveted Deadeye badge, but her journey wasn't over. Her performance had caught the attention of the Scout Sniper Platoon, a unit of ghost-like soldiers who operated in the shadows. They saw her potential, but potential isn't enough. They put her through their own brutal, informal selection process. Days of endless physical exertion, complex mental puzzles, and tests of observation and patience. They pushed her artigos, her breaking point, and then pushed further, testing her character as much as her skills. Miller never broke. She simply absorbed the pressure, her quiet determination a silent answer to every challenge. Finally, they gave her the M24. It wasn't officially assigned, not yet. It was a test, a responsibility. "Learn it, know it, become it," her platoon sergeant had said, his voice gravelly. "This rifle is a part of you now," and so she did. She spent every spare moment with the weapon, learning its cogday quirk, its balance, the precise feel of the bolt action. She cleaned it not as a chore but as a ritual, a way of connecting with the tool that was an extension of her will. Which brought her back to this moment, under the cold, interrogating gaze of the colonel. She finished reassembling the bolt, the click of the metal a crisp, final sound in the silence. She slowly looked up, her eyes meeting the colonel's. There was no defiance in her gaze, only a calm, unshakable confidence. She didn't need to list her qualifications or recount her journey. The Deadeye badge on her chest, the pristine rifle in her hands, and the steady calm in her eyes told the whole story. The colonel held her gaze for a long moment. He saw it then. Not a private, not a number, but a warrior. He saw the discipline forged in the Montana wilderness, the focus honed on countless firing ranges, and the quiet strength that had impressed some of the toughest soldiers in the Army. The question he had asked, "Where did you get that rifle?" was no longer an accusation. It was a question of genuine, astonished respect. He nodded slowly, a small, almost imperceptible sign of approval. "Carry on, soldier," he said, his voice now devoid of its earlier edge. With that, he turned and walked away, leaving Private Miller alone once more with her rifle, a silent testament to the fact that talent, grit, and an unbreakable will can carve a path in even the most rigid of worlds. She was exactly where she was supposed to be. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content just like this. See you in the next one.